I have with me at Women at Woodstock West, Carolyn Braddock, who was one of our presenters this morning at the healing workshop. So I'm very glad that you joined me to talk to me personally too.
Thank you, Ann.
So tell me, at the healing workshop, what did you share with the group?
Well, basically, what I wanted the group to really hook into is that there are three distinctive patterns that I have found in the field of trauma. The first one being rigid, along with a distinctive pattern of breath, sound, and movement. And then the second one, collapsed, which is, again, a distinctive pattern of breath, sound, and movement. And then the third one is inanimate, which is more like a dissociative kind of response. So what I do is kind of guide people into acknowledging, looking at those three different embodiments of trauma and perhaps the manifestations that go with it, like the rigid breath, the collapsed breath, the inanimate breath just going away, and also the foot patterns that go with it. And it's often said that our feet are our most honest indicators of our body. And so I really look at the way a person walks. For instance, one of the things that happens that I noticed in the field of trauma is that people will walk what's called a tightrope walk. And so their pelvis gets very narrow and one foot crosses over the other, and they have a very narrow field of walking. So what happens with that is it makes it off balance. So I can go like this and push on someone and they can fall over. So these three embodiments of trauma and the manifestations with that, I look at that, I help people to recognize that, and then we move from there into breath, into sound, into movement, into using some egg shakers as a qigong, because all of my work is based in the ancient art and philosophy of Tai Chi and Qigong. And I work with breath, helping people to learn about breathing and intensifying a breath, bringing the breath response in and holding your breath and then letting it go. And stepping back sometimes, just letting the cells catch up.
Exactly, and I felt that this morning when we went through some of those exercises, just the breathing. You think, all right, we're going to do a breathing exercise, great. But being guided that way, and you were talking as we were doing it about the way that people feel and the way it's linked to their feelings, and it felt good, it felt different, and especially when we did the shakers at the end, just shaking the little egg shakers with beads in them or whatever was in them with your own rhythm was, I'm going to keep mine at my desk. I'm going to use mine in the future.
Well, it actually does help it's a qigong, to get you balanced. It's to help you to move through every single organ in your body to come back to balance. And the other key is slowing down so your cells can catch up. And sometimes doing those egg shakers really helps with that too.
I would imagine. And your whole process is called the Braddock Body Process?
That's correct. It originally came from the Institute on Child Abuse and Neglect that I founded, and then gradually developed into the Braddock Body Process. So really looking at the connection between the verbal and especially the nonverbal. And that's why my book is called Body Voices, because it's listening carefully to the nonverbal response that often is louder than the verbal response.
Exactly. And so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to get free counseling here from you right now.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
When I first met you and you told me about watching people walk and you can tell about them, so I always wanted to ask you, what could you tell about me when you first saw me walking? And you might not remember, so I'll ask you that later.
Maybe we can do some walking.
I'll make you watch me walk down the hall, and
Okay.
then you can tell me. But the other thing is, I have a lifelong habit of deep sighs. I'll be doing something, I'm working away, washing dishes or whatever, and I'll just let out this big sigh, and those who don't know me go, what's wrong? And that's the way I breathe. That's what I do all the time. And my children, my husband, they're all used to it. But I think it's not just physiological or not just, the way my body's built. I'm sure it's tied to something.
Well, the thing is that I may not be able to say, okay, it's this or it's that, but your body knows. For instance, if I heard that, I'd probably say, wow, great breath. Or we could use it as a cleansing breath, just putting your hands up and then, just cleansing out. And sometimes when I can hear that and you do that, it might be something, and people say, what's wrong? It might be something that's right.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
So-
It could be, yeah. I think the way I do it sounds very defeated and almost exasperated, and that's why it throws people for a loop. But as you're talking, I'm thinking, I wonder what that means, from my life. Maybe there's something to explore in that.
Well, look at it this way. It could be that there's so much chi building up that we have to let go. And so sometimes we just simply need to let go of the buildup of chi. Otherwise, it becomes stagnant and we get stuck.
I like that interpretation way better than something negative. I like that.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
I feel better. So you do workshops of your own. I mean, you're here at Women at Woodstock and,
Yes.
did the healing workshop, Healing Past Wounds. But what are the workshops that you do? Are they all in Ohio, or do you go to different parts of the country?
I have a lot of workshops that I do in Southern California. I teach at UCLA Arts and Healing. I do some classes there. I've taught classes at Cal State Northridge in the music therapy department. And I also do my own in Ojai, and that's between Ventura and Santa Barbara. And people come in, they do either individual work with me, group work with me, family work with me, or my own workshops that I do 3-4 times a year, where people come in, they set some goals, and I have a team that works with me. And so we do different things. We even spend time for a whole day on the beach and doing some Tai Chi, Qigong exercises, and then like writing in the sand what you want to let go of and watching the ocean come and take it away.
I like that.
Now, some people have done it where they go way away from the beach and, write
Oh,
it.
we
and
can't get wiped
so,
away. They
right.
have to kick it or
so,
something.
doing something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's on my website.
And what is your website?
www.braddockbodyprocess.com.
.com. That's
Mhm.
easy. BRADDOCK. And I've met one of your students from one of your workshops, and she, whenever she talks about her, it's a weekend, right? In
It's
Ojai.
4 days.
Oh, 4 days. Okay.
Mhm.
She just is all smiles. It really did. I can tell it did a lot for her, and I get the sense that you have a lot of fun at these things.
Well, we do, because I like to balance it out. It's almost like a figure eight. In fact, I have people walk in a figure eight to really feel that balance. And the other thing is, the very first day of the workshop, I always have people get into their bodies using breath, using sound, using movement, because that's the essence of my work. The interesting thing is, when I do them, I slow down more than I ever have. And that's largely because I get older and wiser around making sure that people really can feel it. And that's about teaching less, but experiencing more.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Really
and it's really fun.
Interesting stuff you do.
Maybe a little learning along the way too.
Yeah, there you go.